Ashley Vickers, our May Associate Spotlight. Thank you so much for the time and being so receptive to showing up and doing a video chat with me. Ashley, how long have you worked at Edafio? And if you would, tell us a little bit about your job with the company.
I have been here, it will be 2 years in June, but what I do is on the purchasing side. So I'm part of our finance and admin team. In purchasing, we do a lot of quoting, we do a lot of negotiations, and we do a lot of ordering. And that entails not only assisting the client with finding the best solution for their needs, but also getting it to them in a timely manner, making sure that we're doing the best we can for them to be successful.
And have you noticed any significant changes since COVID?
Yes, I have. Because I deal primarily in stocked items. So any sort of hardware, anything like that. With shutdowns came shortages. With everybody working remote, all of a sudden also came shortages. Everybody needs better networking equipment. Everybody needs a better laptop. Everybody needs a webcam. Can still stay connected in person.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we know the struggles that they're going through. They understand if there's struggles on our end, but they're good growing pains.
What is it that you like most about your job?
It is very fast paced. There is always something new. There's always some sort of problem to solve, whether it be an easy one or one that requires a little bit more critical thinking. But I actually spent about 15 years in the service industry. I waited tables for a long time. You want things to be busy.
Yes.
So I'm kind of used to literally running in circles, and now I'm just spinning in circles in my chair. So it's fine.
Yeah.
The company I had worked for before I went to waiting tables full time, they were a client of Edafio. Edafio was always great. You know, the engineer that came in was wonderful. We had Jeff Gable as our primary engineer.
Yeah.
And
he is so great.
He's great. It was just refreshing. That was a great experience with him. So got the opportunity to interview. I jumped on it. I was like, yes, please. It was a no-brainer for me if I wanted to take the interview or not. And then when I was offered the position, I was like, yay, I can, you know, the culture with the company and just the relationship you could tell and the communication inside of Edafio was always something that was appreciated. And you can tell that it was teamwork.
The best career lesson that you could have learned so far, what would you suggest as far as a career lesson for you?
In any career that you're in, whether it go from service industry or IT or anything else, don't be afraid to ask questions. Questions are imperative to you learning. If you don't ask a question, you're not going to know. You need to learn something new every day.
Yeah. So. Do you teach that to your kids too?
I was taught that as a kid, so I do teach it to my children. Even if you're the only person in the room that doesn't know, then you have all of these people who can share all of their knowledge. You're not getting an answer from one person in their little bit. Then the whole team knows the same thing. Whatever room you're in, now everybody walks out with the same knowledge.
Let's get off of work for a minute. What do you enjoy doing when you aren't at Edafio?
I really enjoy time with friends and family. During COVID, I really missed out on we have a very large family.
Do you?
Usually our family get-togethers are 20 strong, and that's just immediate family. When we get those opportunities to all come together, we really missed those. But we're starting to plan more this year, and it's getting exciting. I really enjoyed gardening. I've always enjoyed it. I always enjoy being outside, and it's anything from flowers to vegetables to really just trying to get my lawn to grow. So.
Yeah, I was curious to know, like, what is it that you enjoy growing, and if you have any practical tips to share.
I'm still learning, but right now it's flowers. We got a new house 2 years ago, and I fell in love with it because of the mature landscaping that was there. Yeah. I was able to break down and repurpose everything that was there. So I didn't have to go out and buy new plants. I just moved things. So I've learned how to not kill my trees. And I've learned how to make my rose bushes grow faster. So
what a wonderful, accomplishment to see that you've put something in the earth and then it actually sprouts up and then you produce these beautiful blooms or vegetables.
I get silly excited when things go the way that I want. I take pictures and I send it to everybody. I'm like, look, it's growing. Yeah. Nobody else cares, but I care.
What's a fun fact about you that people may not know?
This is my only fun fact I think I have. So there may be more people that know it than not. but I was actually born on a U.S. Naval base in Iceland and lived there for the first 2 years. And then my parents transferred to Virginia Beach. And then we moved to Arkansas when I was about 3 or 4. My mom grew up in North Little Rock. There's a small joke that we are related to more people here than you could imagine because we do have such a large family. We're Italian American. There's a lot of us. So this is where we came back to. But my home base has always been here.
How long were they in Iceland? You said you left when you were 2, but were they there for a bit before you were born?
I'm pretty sure they were stationed there for 4 years.
Did you ever read the book Wintering?
I did not.
Yeah. She talks about Iceland in it to the point where I'm like, I must visit this country.
It is.
Do you have any desire to go back?
Absolutely. It is on my bucket list, 23 and a half hours of sunlight during the summer. And from what I hear, some of the best golf courses in the world. I don't remember how to play golf all that well, but I'm sure I could learn.
I guess they don't have any trees in Iceland. Have you heard that? It's true, right? It's just bushes, but
it's too cold. Along with the 23 and a half hours of daylight during the summer comes very long, dark winter. So there's no room for anything to grow.
Okay. The one thing that I enjoyed is that I don't know if I could do this whole ice water submersion thing, kind of a trending all over the world now, but Iceland, it's obviously something that it's common, but they have saunas. So in their houses where they don't call it like, do you have a sauna? It's let's go sauna. Like it's a verb. They go and they sit in these warm, nurturing, rooms. And then from there they go out and they submerge themselves in cold. And then they go back into these warm rooms. It's just so foreign to me. I'm not a big fan of ice cold water, but it's got me curious.
I am a fan of saunas, but I am not a fan of ice cold water. I will stay in the sauna while y'all go and do your thing outside, but I'm going to stay here where it's warm.
Yeah. So what is your motto? Do you have a motto or a personal mantra? Anything that guides you?
I do. I guess this could be another fun fact. My brother and I got the same tattoo before he went off to college because I had moved to Illinois for a brief time, but I had just moved back right before he moved to college. So we always have a saying that family is a world created by love. It's whoever you want to bring into it. It's friends. It's not just by blood. And we have a wonderful dynamic in my family that close friends are family. We check in on you. We, include you in all of our family get-togethers.
I just got back from Colorado. My grandmother, who would have been 100 on May 1st, we celebrated her memorial.
Oh my goodness.
She died in September and we couldn't do anything then. So we waited and decided to do a celebration of her life. I would agree that she was exemplified that idea that it's not just blood, that family is friends, and it's people that are close to your heart in all sorts of ways. Getting together with her friends and of course my family during that time was so profound and beautiful to see what an impact she had made. And it just re-emphasized the fact that, yes, as family, we need to be more intentional about getting together because we don't always live close and our priorities in life gets busy, but we still need to remain diligent in our time together and finding time to see one another. And that includes friends.
My grandfather turns 91 this year. And it always amazes me. I always am impressed with our elderly community. I want to hear the stories you have. Man, the perspective you must have for all those years of experience.
It's so much to learn from them. Honestly, it's beyond comprehension at times, and how fast things change and how swift and life can be. But we really can just hold on to these beautiful opportunities and stories that everybody has to share. It reminds me to just embrace those around us and slow down.
Yes.
Yeah.
To enjoy
and gardening, I think, helps with that too, doesn't it?
It does.
I was looking out at my tree out in the back. I thought it was dead. It had just not bloomed where the trees around it had. It was before I left for Colorado. And then when I got back, all of these beautiful leaves had come out. And I was like, oh, it's not dead. And I was like, I would love to have watched them, do that one of those time lapses?
Yes, I had one that we didn't think was going to make it. And I was trying to be so patient. I watched it like every day for 2 weeks. I'm like, come on, I know you can make it. And it did. If anything, this spring season told us to, especially with gardening or anyone that was paying attention to trees or their landscaping, you had to be patient this year. Everything slowed down and things took a hit. So, I mean, if you hadn't slowed down before, if you wanted to see your plants grow, you had to slow down this year.
Yeah. Do you have 3 words that best describe you?
I'll be honest, I went over these questions with my best friend of 15 years. And
Yeah.
I've struggled to answer these. I just didn't answer them. This was a struggle one for us because,
Really?
yeah, I'm very witty, but along with that, she came up with ambitious and determined.
Mhm.
And that's very nice. I came up with some less nice words.
We're always our worst critics. That is
I,
certain.
I am, but those are the 3 words that she was using to describe
Witty,
me.
ambitious, and determined.
Yes.
Yeah. You've got 3 kids,
Yes.
boys, girls?
A 14-year-old boy, God help me, a 6-year-old girl, also the same thing, and a 4-year-old boy. So we're making it.
Yeah. Yeah. I was explaining, that the age difference are similar to mine, but just mine are a little bit older.
Mhm.
And I'll tell you, they are very perceptive.
Yeah.
I would say ask them the 3 words that best describe you and see what they say.
My
Come back.
14-year-old probably have much nicer words than my 6-year-old because she is learning how to read and she is very chatty and she'd have probably the most comical answer of them all. So
I bet it's almost entertaining to know what they would say. The last question that we have, everybody at Edafio has a story about why they joined the team. Would you be open to sharing yours with us?
I would. I worked for a previous company where Edafio was our IT people. They handled everything. And I was always very impressed with our primary engineer, our account rep, the NOC team. Anytime we needed help, they were always all there they were either all together on the same page and they were always very willing to help and find a timely solution at that. So when I got the opportunity several years later to interview with Edafio, I was super excited because I remembered the teamwork that they portrayed when I did work with them. So when I got the job, I was still super excited because that is how they are. It's teamwork across the board. There's open communication and there is that dedication to client success.
If there was somebody who was asking a question about coming to work in the technology field or for Edafio, what would you say to them?
I would tell them that there's a lot more to the IT industry than just engineers. There are reps, there's product knowledge, even if you don't have experience in it before, because I will admit I did not. But there's always a position and don't it's a growing industry. So don't cut yourself short just by thinking that you don't think you would qualify.
And remember to ask questions, right?
And remember to ask questions. Absolutely.
Well, that's a wrap. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me, to share more about your story and your life with those in the company as well as those that hopefully will watch this that are outside of the company too, because it really is, a people-powered organization, I feel, and it's great to get the personalities and the understanding of who we are. That's not just all about the complex technology infrastructure that could be so intimidating, that we are people here and we really care, and what we provide is a service to empower and
Well,
help.
I thank you for the opportunity. It's been fun. The questions were they were a challenge for me to answer from time to time.
Well, and the fact that you got your friend involved, it really does kind of help explore and formulate just new ideas of things that maybe you never thought of to ask.
Like you said, we are our worst critics. So coming up with the questions, I was like, help me think of something good. Help me think of a good way to say this. Better
Mhm.
yet.
It's Mother's Day weekend. Do you have plans?
I do. I picked up catering at lunch as our first big family get together since pandemic time. It's a yay for we're all finally going to be able to get together. It's all the things.
It brings chills to me knowing that it's true. Like, this is a Mother's Day where last year that was not even an option. And this year it's going to be such a moment of genuine connection. And
Yes.
we're designed to connect and to be together. And this is a perfect opportunity to have that.
Thank you. Do you guys have
Happy
any big
Mother's Day.
plans?
My son, who's a senior this year, the church that we attend has asked the seniors to speak on behalf of the congregation, to share a little bit about, what it means to graduate and how the church has helped them along the path to this, monumental time. And it was a volunteer ask. Nobody had to do it, but he said yes, because he's not he's not an extrovert by any means. And to speak in front of a large crowd is a hard no for what I would have considered him to say.
That's pretty cool though, because with graduation comes, that transition to adulthood and getting out of your comfort zone.
Doing it. I'm so
Yeah.
impressed. And we worked on his speech the other night. It was some challenging moments. And like you say, it's stepping outside of your comfort zone. And there are moments of, uncertainty and feeling inadequate, not knowing if he was going to be able to get through it. And you know what? I think he's more confident now after going through that practice. Just that practice of getting your words on paper and then, practicing presenting. That's a huge step. And then on Sunday, when he speaks in front of the congregation, and it's a small one, we're still social distancing, and that'll be also a monumental shift and hopefully a trajectory toward not being so intimidated by speaking in front of crowds and saying yes to more opportunities and asking questions, like you said.
That's going to be a pretty cool Mother's Day.
I think it'll probably be one of my most memorable.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, thank you for your time. It was fun.
Likewise, Ashley. And I look forward to seeing you when I'm back in the office in Little Rock. Hopefully soon.
Yes, ma'am. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.